Today I'm going to be sharing the physical, mental, and emotional benefits of yoga with you. And it's a practice that I believe helps us thrive and live our best life. Hi, my name is Deb, and welcome to Women Reinventing MidLife TV, where we aim to inspire women over 50 to thrive in a meaningful life that you deeply desire and deserve. During our younger years, we don't seem to put as much time, energy, or effort into looking after our well-being. And we seem to fare pretty well regardless of that. But as we age, our bodies become less forgiving. Our well-being becomes less forgiving. And we notice this in how we feel the morning after we've drunk a couple of glasses of wine the night before. We can feel it in our bodies. Our body shape changes. We might put weight on. We realize we can't eat the same way as we used to. We notice in our endurance. We notice it in our strength. We can feel it in the amount of energy that we have, and it's not as much energy as we used to have. We find it easier to forget things or lose things. We find it more difficult to reach for words when we're speaking. And we find it easier to feel down if we're not really careful about how we look after our well-being. I know this, I get it, and I know how it feels. And I have been someone over the last 30 years who has exercised regularly. I have focused on looking after my health and well-being. I have eaten a healthy diet and meditated regularly over the last 30 years. But even when I got to this stage in my life, I realized that I needed more. And along came yoga. And I have noticed through regular practice and qualifying as a teacher a couple of years ago, dedicating myself to my practice and through the teaching of other people, I have found that part that I needed, that extra that I needed to help me thrive and live my best life. And so today I want to share with you the physical, mental, and emotional benefits of yoga, because I'm hoping that you can see how this can add more and bring more joy to your life, because I really believe it helps us thrive and live our very best second half. So firstly, let's look at the physical benefits. So the physical benefits of regularly practicing yoga is it helps us be more flexible. There's a misconception that we need to be flexible to do yoga, and that is not the truth at all. That is actually a lie. We do not need to be flexible to do yoga. Through the regular practice of yoga, our body becomes more flexible. So it's about dedicating ourselves to a regular practice. And we need to be flexible as we age. It helps us thrive because flexibility is needed for doing simple things like walking upright. If we're not flexible in our hips, then it leads us to be a little more hunched over when we walk, or we don't have as much movement. We can't walk as fast as we age. So flexibility is so important in thriving in this phase of life. Physically, yoga helps us build more muscular strength. As we age, we start to lose muscle mass, and that can lead us to feel a little bit weaker than we used to feel. A lot of women complain about having a bloated belly or putting weight on around their belly. I've noticed through regular practice of yoga that it targets muscles that we don't normally use, which means through regular practice, you can tone your core naturally and tone your pelvic floor. Another important physical benefit of yoga is the breath. So breath is a big focus of yoga. And when we focus on our breath, it allows our body to open because it relaxes our body, so our body is able to open more freely. I've witnessed some incredible changes with clients of mine where they've been able to achieve more flexibility in the body much more easily through yoga, through the practice of breath, than they have through their usual physical movement practices. So the breath is an important part of this. The breath also brings more oxygen into our body, and with more oxygen in our body, it builds our immune system, which is an essential part. As we age, we need to have a strong immune system. It also brings more clarity to thinking. So the extra oxygen in our bloodstream allows us to think more clearly. It can improve our memory retention. It can improve our focus. Physically, yoga helps us get better sleep. I have used yoga a few times. I actually developed a short practice that helps me wind down when I'm having difficulty sleeping. And there is a video on this channel that gives you guidance through that practice that I use to get to sleep. And I'm going to pop that video at the end of this one so you can have a look at it if you have a problem sleeping. And the reason for this is that yoga relaxes the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a part of our nervous system that allows us to relax enough to go to sleep. Okay, so let's have a look at the mental benefits, because they're important too. With the regular practice of yoga, you're able to improve your focus. As I've already shared, the breath work that you do during yoga allows you to focus more because you have more oxygen in your body. And when you focus more, you're less likely to ruminate. You're less likely to get drawn into those rumination patterns that can actually bring you down. When you're able to focus more, you're able to think more clearly, and you're less likely to get distracted by things that don't serve you well. You find it easier to think clearer, which means you can prioritize and make the best use of your time as well. And regular practice of yoga allows you to retrain your brain, so you're less likely to judge, you're less likely to react to things. And if you do react to things, then you're able to actually interrupt that behavior pattern that's really not serving you. Now, before we go into the emotional benefits, because there are many of those too, if you're finding this content helpful and interesting, please remember to subscribe to this channel to help me continue to bring helpful information like this to you. And there's actually another added benefit to subscribing at the moment, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. So please make sure you stick around to find out about that. Okay, so let's now have a look at the emotional benefits, because there are a few that are very important. First of all, I'm going to link back to the physical. So in the physical, we talked about having a stronger body, a more toned body, feeling more flexible, feeling more rested because you're getting better sleep. Because of all that, you feel more in control of yourself. You feel more confident and you feel a lot more uplifted. So let's now link back to the mental, because it's how we think and what we focus on that leads us to feel a certain way. So if we want to feel better, then we need to change the way we think and what we focus on. So with the regular practice of yoga, it means you're less likely to ruminate. You're less likely to focus on problems. You're making better use of your time. You're less distracted. And that can help you change anxiety, stress, overwhelm into a sense of peace and calm, which is how we want to feel in this phase of life. And of course, yoga helps us connect to our true self, our spirit. And when we're fully connected to our spirit, we're very present. And when we're very present in the moment, we feel that sense of calm. We feel that all is good in life, and we feel a sense of joy. So before I finish, I want to talk about yoga in general. So yoga is a way of living. It's not just something that we do on the mat, but it is the practice on the mat that helps us bring yoga into our daily life, which is all about thriving. It's all about feeling at peace and calm, and it's all about feeling joyful and living our best life. Okay, here is the reason why it's important to subscribe. Over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be running a series of videos to help you create more flexibility in the hips. Now, I mentioned a little bit before about the importance of having flexibility in the hips. As we age, one of the areas that actually tighten is the hip area, because we hold a lot of stress in our hips, we hold a lot of tension in our hips. So it's important to make sure that our hips stay flexible. It's important to make sure that our hips stay open, because with open and flexible hips, we're going to be able to do all the things that require movement as we age, those important physical activities that we enjoy doing, even, as I said, walking upright. Over the next 4 weeks, each week, I'll be releasing a 20-minute video that guides you through a practice to create more flexibility in those hips. And I'll begin with the basics, more beginner postures, and each week I'll be adding something in that might be a little bit more challenging. So I encourage you to subscribe, because when you subscribe and click the bell for notifications, when that next video comes out, you will get notified straight away through YouTube. So it is important that you subscribe and click the bell for notifications as well. And I love to hear your comments. I love any questions, if you have any questions at all. And please remember, if you've never done yoga before, it is important that you consult your doctor first, especially if you have any health or medical conditions, and listen to your doctor's suggestions. Thank you for joining me. If you found this content interesting or helpful, please remember to like the video, share the video, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss out. Lots of love to you, and I look forward to connecting with you next time. Bye-bye.